The classic American dream of homeownership, it's currently on life support. And frankly, the vitals are looking pretty grim. 82% of Gen Z feels the market is fundamentally broken. And for once, the cynicism is actually backed by cold, hard data. We are looking at a median home price hovering around $420,000. If you were expecting a cute picket fence, you might want to check your bank account for a rounding error. It's a bold strategy to expect a mortgage approval with a balance that looks more like a participation trophy than a down payment. But hey, keep checking those listings. They call it the responsible homebuyer path. Let's crunch the numbers that only work if you have a time machine or a magical inheritance. To buy a modest $420,000 home, you need $84,000 in cash just sitting around. At current interest rates, you are looking at a monthly payment of $2,500. Easy, right? If you're a time traveler. Financial experts love the 28% rule. It says your housing cost shouldn't exceed 28% of your gross income. But with a median income of $45,000, you're allowed exactly $1,050 for housing, which is barely enough for a luxury garden shed. So, we have a $2,500 bill for a $1,000 budget. See the problem? The bridge between responsible and possible has officially collapsed. The math doesn't math. Unless your salary is magically tripled or interest rates drop to zero, this bridge isn't being rebuilt anytime soon. The divergence is stark. From 2020 to 2026, home prices skyrocketed by 58%. Meanwhile, real wages crawled up by a pathetic 22%. That massive gap? That is the smoking gun of our housing crisis. Even if you completely swore off avocado toast, you are still roughly a century away from that down payment. Welcome to the modern American dream, brought to you by Wall Street. You know how 1 in 5 single-family homes is now owned by an institutional investor? That's not a trend. That's a foreclosure on your future. Thank you, Wall Street, for turning starter homes into permanent rental revenue streams. Nothing says community like your landlord being a hedge fund headquartered 3 states away. They don't just buy houses. They optimize them like a financial product. They use arbitrage, market-driven tactics, and quantitative analysis to outbid families who just want a place to exist. By the time you scrape together a down payment, the institutional shark has already closed the deal, cash in hand. You didn't lose the bid to a better offer. You lost it to an algorithm designed to rent your life back to you. Congratulations, you've arrived at the housing market, but first, you'll need to pay your participation fee. For millions of Gen Z, that fee is a student degree, currently averaging $30,000 in debt. This isn't an accident. It's a structural trend. Look at the climb in debt over the last few decades. The degree was sold as the golden ticket to the middle class. Instead, it created a debt cycle that traps your income before you ever see a paycheck. While your savings account stays flat, your debt payments grow, making that down payment mathematically impossible. You were promised the key to a house, only to find the door locked from the inside. Turns out, the degree didn't open the door. It just ensured you'd be paying rent to the landlord of your own dreams for the rest of your life. Welcome to the housing market, where the bank of parents has officially replaced your savings account. If you were hoping to win this game on merit, I have some bad news. You're playing on expert mode while everyone else is in the tutorial. Data suggests that a staggering 25% of Gen Z buyers are only getting those keys because mom and dad provided the cash. It's not a ladder, it's a genetic wealth relay race. Look at the down payment distribution. Achieving that 20% threshold without a family gift is essentially a fantasy for most. You aren't just saving for a house, you're saving for a down payment that grows faster than your paycheck ever will. If you didn't win the genetic lottery, you're trying to solve a puzzle while the pieces keep disappearing. It's time we acknowledge that the traditional path is effectively broken for anyone without a bank of parents' signature on the closing documents. So a trend emerged. It is not an exodus, it is a strategic retreat to survival cities like Indianapolis, Columbus, or Des Moines. Gen Z is choosing Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Why? Because they prefer eating regular meals over living in a vibrant zip code where the rent is an existential crisis. It is a pivot from chasing clout to chasing solvency. In this economy, if you can actually afford your rent, you are technically living the dream. The old playbook? It's been shredded. This chart? It's a relic of a time when middle-class stability actually existed. The traditional path is a pipe dream. So, what's left? Co-buying with friends, renting without shame, and investing your money in places where it won't be swallowed by 7% interest rates. But let's be real. Individual hacks can't fix a systemic rot. We need zoning reform. We need to stop pretending that low-density sprawl is the only way to build a civilization. End on this. If the housing market is a machine that only lets the wealthy win, is it actually a market, or is it just a gatekeeper charging rent on the concept of home? Choose your side.